Yo, what's up, everyone? Buenos dias, good morning. It is that time yet again. Marking out our key levels on ES and getting ready for a good day. Morning, Bill. Hey, Paul. Happy Friday to you. We had these two lows. I'm just seeing if there's anything else below that. And looks like, yes, we do have this. Good morning, Julian. Does look like we had a gap down that we never went back and filled. Might put that on the chart just in case we get going to the upside. Good morning, Ed. Oh no. Oh no, issues with Tradeovate. Bleeding into Ninja Trader, don't tell me that. Alright, so we got that gap on the chart. Don't think we have any more gaps to the downside. We filled all those. And we are just patiently waiting for the open. Downtrend already played out, and now we're kind of waiting on the next market move. We'll also take a gander over at NQ. Morning, Archer. So NQ successfully filled this gap yesterday. We can get that off the chart. Has a couple highs. Did it also have a... Oh, yeah, it did have a big gap down that it never filled. All right, well, market is open. Getting a little bit of movement so far. But of course, we don't have a trend we're going off, so we don't have anything pending, anything immediate. So I'm going to take some time to get Nasdaq all dialed in. Nasdaq dropping down. There's yesterday's low. We do have a small gap down this morning. Not really even worth mapping out. Yes, nice little push down too. If we don't get a bounce soon, we will have to start looking for some sort of wider channel. Cool. Those are our key levels there on NQ. Switching back over to ES. Still anticipating that bounce. Good morning, Anna. Happy Friday to you. Another little rejection at the EMA, starting indeed to look like perhaps some sort of wider channel. So we'll start mapping that out here in a sec. All right, let's see. Perhaps something along these lines. We still have a lot of empty space there at the bottom though, so yeah, a larger push down would definitely be helpful to start really considering this thing. Hey, good morning, Tom. Yeah, continuing push down here. So I think we're right on with our larger channel. Let's check out NQ. Yep, this is looking good too. So we will stick to the downside. Just watching for a nice pullback that holds the EMA, and we will look for a short on either market. Bottom of our channel, we do have a key level there below, which is an unbroken, I believe, an unbroken low. Yep, from the 22nd of October. Might need to look up some more downside levels on ES. Yeah, I'm gonna go back in time here a little bit. That was all pre-market. We'll throw this one on the chart just in case we really get going to the downside. We are right at a key level though, so be cautious here. Could even be an overshoot of that channel. So I'm not really interested in shorting if we are bouncing off of a key level. Yeah, exactly, Tom. There's a big bounce here previously. And this is also the 50 SMA of the SPY daily chart, which is heavily watched by institutions. NQ breaking below so far. Yeah, this is going to be a wait and see kind of zone. Especially SMA 50 on SPY. We haven't been there in months. So there should be a pretty violent reaction around here. Whether to the upside or the downside, we don't really know yet. Strata, no, you haven't really missed anything yet. Getting a little bounce up off that level. So we are getting pullback here, however, not going to be shorting. Not after a bounce off that key level, unfortunately, because this does look like a good second entry short if that bar ends bearish. Gonna have to pause here. All right, we've already had a second entry short. Very tempting just based on the pattern, but if you're aware of those key levels, kept you safe. We're getting a pretty significant bounce here. If we get a push below the EMA and a lower high, I'll look to take it. But right now, we're bouncing up off of a key level. Major daily area on SPY. Institutions, traders, everyone is watching this area. So if we break it to the downside, it could get very ugly very fast. But this area has been support for this entire year. We have not gotten below it since the big tariff release has been since May. We got back above it. NQ's in the same position. It is bouncing up off of that level there. And I don't know if I'm going to check the the daily chart on the Qs. I don't know if this is, yeah, it's not quite, it's 50 SMA. Little bit more downside to go for the old Nasdaq, but this is an unbroken low from previous. So not quite as major of a level on the Nasdaq, but since they're made up of the same stocks, if one is at a major level, then we have to be cautious of the other as well. Here we go, pushing below the 21, and we will look for that lower high. Back above the 21. Oof, that's a pretty tempting bar there. I think we're gonna have to take that if we can get filled. Oh my gosh, freezing. My channel got moved too. A double lower high would be even better. I might even add to it. But this is really aggressive due to the key level there. And yeah, this is why, man. Those key levels are not any joke. But that's why I only took on one contract there. Very small risk for a huge reward. If that would have dropped down below that key area again, I mean, you could get a massive, massive drop. So worth the risk in my opinion. That's what you always got to be calculating. Another push down. I'm going to get short on a test account on NQ. Does look like we're going to get that drop. Over on ES, still waiting for a lower high at the EMA. See if we can get it on this push. Okay, watching this bar form here. If it ends bearish, I'm going to take another chance. Oops. That looks pretty good. Small bar too, so small risk. There we go. Keep on pushing, baby. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna get trapped again here. So I'm gonna wait until we completely clear this level before getting in again. Too volatile. Both were great setups. Those were both amazing setups if it hadn't been for that key level. And the thing is, it probably will end up dropping. Just not when we wanted it to. Getting that pop up on ES there. We are getting some strong pushes to the downside. It just hasn't really followed through yet. And from a price action perspective, we would expect to move down. We had this trend down. This is our first break. We would expect a new low, but get that major level in the way. Yeah, Captain Kirk, always the mindset's the number one thing. So if you're not feeling it for whatever reason, it's best to step away. So get on you. Get on you. Have a great weekend. EMA is holding here. We're about to get a very big move, guys. The problem is we don't know which direction it's going to be, but this thing is going to launch one way or the other. Sellers keep trying to push it down, and buyers are gradually moving this thing up here. We'll see if they have enough strength to continue this trend higher and get a legitimate daily move off of this major institutional level. Does look like we have two legs up, right? We had this uptrend break new high. This is when we would expect sellers at some point to come in. And if they do and we get a strong push below the EMA, we can start considering a short again. But we'll definitely need that. News in 3 minutes. What? Oh yeah, we do have consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. Those could move the market a little bit. We'll definitely wait for that number to come out. One minute till news. I want to get through this so we can get to trading. I think there's going to be a really good opportunity in here. Do not want to miss it because of news. Got 20 seconds now. Right, there's a news release. Consumer sentiment is lower than forecasted. Inflation expectations slightly higher. It's a nice little drop there on ES. We have one lower high, so we can get a second one. Looking for that pullback. We got this move down. We want to see a pullback. Find resistance at the EMA. Get two nice clean tests, and then we will take a short here. But now that we got through this econ release, we have really no scheduled news to worry about. It's all just standard market participants, institutional positioning, etc. Here's our pullback. Let's see if we find rejection at the EMA. Jury's still out. Okay, there's our push down. Does look like we'll probably be at least testing that new low area. Yes, right on the SPY 50 daily SMA. Again, if we break below this and hold below this, guys, we could have a very, very bloody day. This miniature little downtrend has played out. We had this move down, break new low, so we may have another bounce in store, even if we do end up getting a new low. NQ is making that low right now. See if if the bottom all of a sudden falls out of this thing. Added to my little test position on NQ. Still riding this one. It's turning into something crazy here. See if we can get down to that next key level. I'm just going to trail my stop. Let it do what it's going to do. Over on ES, this trend has played out. Well, actually on both of them, we had a break and new low. So we would expect a bounce here. And then we'll just be watching the bounce, see how high it is, see how much juice the buyers really have. If we get a wimpy little bounce that gets shut down immediately, we're going to be looking for a wider trend and we're going to be shorting again. All right, looks like I'm probably going to get stopped out on this NQ position. Right there. And we'll take that. I'm just waiting for this correction. Here's that bounce coming right as scheduled. Wow. Pretty steep. These major levels can be very, very contentious. This move up may already have an overshoot. Very, very steep. We're drawing our channel tight. Kind of looks like an overshoot already. Big bounce on NQ there. Well, doesn't look like we're probably going to have a big bearish trend today. Getting a significant bounce there at the 50 SMA, and this could actually really get going to the upside if buyers start to add, because there's for sure a lot of sellers that shorted right in here on the low. Could get trapped. When this little uptrend plays out, we will be considering a short again if we get a double lower high. So looking for a push down to lower highs. The second one needs to be below the EMA. Or I should say crossing through the EMA yet closing below. Will NQ break a new high? Again, looking for that push down. Gonna be patient. All right, starting to get a push now. Push slowed down here on ES right at the EMA. We don't even have a single lower high yet. Still don't. And I realized I have not reloaded my chart yet. Kind of nervous to do that because I think it might freeze like it has been doing. All right, Archer. Good luck with that. And yeah, see you on Discord in a bit. Not a single lower high. Bummer. Oof, pushing up again. Eager sellers are getting punished. Paul says NQ. Yeah, I don't have anything on NQ yet either. It's looking the same as ES, kind of holding on the EMA. This potentially could be our first lower high if we push lower. Back on ES. Still have not really pushed below the 21. This will be our first lower high if we do. Yep, doesn't look like we're going to be getting that downside today, folks. Bulls continue to push this thing. Yeah, so the bias right now is, well, it was bearish, but that played out, and now we are more or less chopping. There's not too much to hold on to as far as a trend here. This move up has played out, so we don't want to get long, right? There's a break in a new high. If it continues higher, like if instead of correcting here, we find a new high and a new high, then we will be forced to look at some alternative channel. But right now we just have to be patient. It's kind of the beginning of a new market cycle. Nice. Look at that push down. Cool, 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 cool. All right, so now we're looking for another opportunity to short here. All right, well, thought we were going to get some follow through the downside. It does look like that door is probably closed today. So either we will have a major reversal, which I don't know. I mean, could happen. Major reversal. Maybe we go and like fill that gap way up there, something along those lines. Either that happens, or more likely, we kind of just chop around in this general area and wait for the new week. So some solid movement this morning, at least. Hopefully you guys are able to capitalize on that. And otherwise, we will be patient, look for our opportunities, and there's always going to be chances for base hits. So hope it is a great day for you guys. I will catch you next time. Have a great weekend. Later.